Air Mauritius is not a massive airline, but like many flag carriers of smaller countries, they are a vital lifeline, especially for nations that rely on tourism. With their flights to 13 destinations spread across 4 continents, Air Mauritius is a bit of a small powerhouse driving tourism on the island. Are they any good though? That was the question of the day. By the way, if you're ever curious about the price that I paid for this flight, or the equipment that I use on a daily basis while traveling and creating, all of that can be found in the description below. Let me welcome any of you that might be new to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm here to give you a self-funded and honest look at some of the best, most unique, or simply most popular airlines and hotels in the world, which I've been bringing to you full-time for 5 years now. I'd love for you to know more about how I do things on the channel, so simply scan the QR code or check out one of my hundreds of videos to do so. Let's get into the trip report. I had a very weird 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. transit in Mumbai. Hotels that are flexible to allow you to count that as one night instead of 2 are true gems of the world. So after my daytime sleep and nighttime coffee, it's now time to head to Mumbai's airport, Terminal 2 to be exact. Of the terminals here in Mumbai, this in my mind is simply known as the pretty one. Designed by Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, it opened in 2014 and symbolized the modernization of the aviation industry in India. The first terminal in the country to be designed forward, it also had the country's first contract premium lounge, as well as their first integrated airport hotel. Leave your spices and pickles behind, head inside after a check of your boarding pass or itinerary, and then make your way through the massive check-in hall. Air Mauritius was founded in 1967, with ownership split between Air France, BOAC, and the Mauritian government, along with a local sales team. At first, they weren't operating their own flights though. Check-in and priority security were quick and easy, and soon I was making my way to the very crowded Adani lounge. By 1972, they started with their Piper PA-31 leased from Air Madagascar to fly to Rodriguez. The following year, they arranged for a wet-leased Vickers VC-10 from British Airways to fly to London via Nairobi. The 80s saw them cycle through multiple small aircraft types and lease arrangements, with their ownership being shaken up. At one time, Air India even owned a 10% stake. Mauritius as an island nation is a really interesting mix of culture, and that is clearly illustrated in their current route map. A francophone African nation, at once in the hands of the British and with long-held ties to India. Just a side note that as of this month, I'm going back to a truly chronological posting order of my flights and hotels combined. That means that sometimes there won't be a single hotel video in a month, or sometimes the majority of the videos in a month will be. This will just help me streamline my own mental timeline as I juggle a new project that I'm working on for 2027. Air Mauritius currently has 12 aircraft, including 8 wide-body and 4 turboprops. Relatively speaking, a small airline. But in their immediate region, Mozambique, Madagascar, Reunion, Seychelles, they're the largest by number of aircraft. But even if you expand that a bit further, like Air Tanzania has 14 aircraft, South African Airways has 18. My point being, This is an outsized airline for the region. I'm sure that 1, 2, or 14 people will tell me that it's to set a calm mood, but I think this is the only major terminal I pass through that always feels like it needs to be brighter. Boarding ended up being on time, and despite the PA announcement system working perfectly, our gate crew, along with the 2 gates on either side of us, were in some sort of competition to see who could physically scream their announcements the loudest. I can still hear the words "Kuwait last call" if I close my eyes. Boarding for the flight began with economy for some reason, and they just waited on the jet bridge. Then they started business and made all the economy passengers move over to let us through. It was very parade of the privileged, and the oddest way that I've ever seen an aircraft boarded. Air Mauritius does have brand new A350s and A330 Neos in their fleet, with comfortable 1-to-1 staggered seating. But generally on the Indian routes, they use an A330-200. They have a couple of these on a 3-year lease from Carlyle Aviation. On board, they have an old-school 222 seat configuration, but they were in fantastic shape for the age, and they were actually really comfortable, with nearly endless legroom for the seats to be able to turn into a fully, well, angle flat surface. If you're enjoying the video and would like to support the channel, there are many ways that you could do so. A quick like on the video and subscribe helps videos with the algorithm. You could join my YouTube channel memberships to get early access to some videos and access to all of my community posts. Or you could check out my Patreon, where I post the most, and can help you out with any travel-related questions. Whatever you do, thanks for doing it. Each seat had a really large amenity kit, along with a pillow and blanket waiting. The seats have a variety of storage areas, 1 next to your hip, and 3 on the seat back in front of you. You'll need to store your personal item in the overhead bin for takeoff and landing though. We were welcomed on board by not 1, not 2, but 3 pursers who were all working this flight. All of whom sounded like they were straight out of a 1940s film. Pre-departure drinks of orange juice, lime juice, or water were passed around, and the safety video began.
Take off in 2 minutes.
Comforts on board included a nice sized pillow, which was fluffy enough, and a high quality duvet style blanket, which came in handy since it was kept quite cool on board. Shortly after takeoff, the least refreshing looking hot towel in the world was passed around. Then the lights were turned off with no further explanation. I think they simply wanted us to just go to sleep. After 20 minutes or so, a member of crew literally peeked out of the curtain and saw I was awake and asked if I wanted the refreshment service, which was printed on the menu. Sure. Well, no awards for presentation, I suppose. There was a brownie, a banoffee pie, sriracha chicken sandwich, and grilled vegetable sandwich, and each tasted precisely as it looks. Overall, a 5.8 out of 10. I had a glass of wine with that. When I asked for a refill, I was given what I felt was a very intentional half pour, which I took as my cue to leave them alone. The entertainment on board was on a dated in-flight monitor, which was a lot more responsive than I was expecting. It just feels so odd to look at a square TV these days. There was a small selection of movies and TV shows available, along with a cheap pair of headphones. As the sun started to rise, there was a bit of a commotion in the galley, so I took that as my cue to start getting ready for the meal. First up, let's take a look at the very turquoise amenity kit from Porsche Design. It's a nice kit, especially for the length of this flight, and had all the essentials that you'd need, though I do wish that they had slippers. Restrooms on board were kept clean and offered the same brand of amenities. To start the breakfast, the crew came through the cabin 3 times over the course of 15 or so minutes with the same tray of orange juice, mint juice, or strawberry smoothie, which looked like Pepto-Bismol and tasted like a melted McDonald's milkshake. But then once the breakfast service actually started, it was kinda rapid fire. Served on a single tray, most of it was pretty tasty. A leek frittata served with roasted potatoes, sautéed mushrooms, and grilled tomato. On the side was some fresh fruit and a croissant. The only thing I didn't care for was the granola, which, well, I wrote down exactly what it tasted like, but I'm not going to actually say it. Let's just say it tasted horrible. Overall, let's go for a 6.8 out of 10. Soon after that, we began our gorgeous descent into Mauritius. The service had 2 faces. When in action, very efficient and mostly friendly. When they wanted everyone sleeping, very reclusive. The food was very mid, but edible for the most part. Amenities on board were very nice for the length of the flight, as was the fare for their flights from India. Overall, I think they're around a 4.5, but I'll give them a 5 with the benefit of the doubt. And welcome to Mauritius. If you haven't seen them already, I have 3 resort videos from the island on the channel, all of which are linked in the description. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this trip report today. If you did, please be sure to click the like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss my twice weekly videos. I'll see you next time on my way to Nairobi. As always, thanks for watching until the end.